Welcome to This Explainer. We get asked about this a lot, so today we're diving into an incredibly valuable career roadmap together. We're going to chart the exact course to becoming a strategic electrical maintenance manager. If you've ever looked at the person running the whole maintenance department and thought, how exactly do they get there? What do they know that I don't? Well, you're in luck, because we've got the complete blueprint right here. So take a second and really ask yourself, what truly separates a good electrical engineer from a great maintenance manager? It's a pretty compelling question, right? Because the answer isn't just racking up more years on the job. No, the journey from being a technically skilled worker in the trenches to a strategic leader running the whole show, it requires a massive paradigm shift. It's all about shifting your mindset from just fixing what's broken today to predicting the future and, crucially, managing people.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're looking at a 5-stage roadmap today. Building your core foundation, equipment and troubleshooting mastery, maintenance types and planning, safety and reliability, and finally, mastering leadership skills.
Starting off with Stage 1, building your core foundation.
To eventually get to that manager's desk, you absolutely have to gain practical experience first. You're typically going to start out as an electrical technician for your first couple of years, really getting your hands dirty. Then, as you soak up that critical real-world context, you move into an electrical engineer role for the next few years. By years 5 to 8, that's when you step up as a senior engineer. Honestly, it takes about 8 to 10 years of grinding, learning, and leading on a small scale as a supervisor before you hit that 10-plus year mark and you're fully ready to sit at the maintenance manager's desk. It is a marathon, for sure, not a sprint.
But listen, just logging time on the floor isn't enough. You have to build a strong educational foundation. Usually, this means you need a minimum of a diploma, or ideally a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. And you've got to absolutely master the core subjects. We're talking electrical machines, power systems, industrial automation, and protection systems. If you don't deeply grasp things like high-voltage engineering and instrumentation early on, you just won't be equipped to make the critical, high-stakes decisions that a manager has to make later down the road.
Moving right along to Stage 2, equipment and troubleshooting mastery.
To manage a maintenance team, you really need to become an expert in electrical equipment. This is about intimately knowing how massive transformers and motors operate, how precise protection relays function, and how to safely handle heavy-duty stuff like vacuum circuit breakers and gas-insulated switchgear. You've got to know how they run, exactly how they fail, and most importantly, how to maintain them safely. Because when things go wrong, and let's be real, they absolutely will, you need to develop serious troubleshooting skills. Just imagine the pressure for a second. A critical motor on the production line is suddenly overheating. That's step 1. The symptom. Your ability to quickly jump to step 2, utilizing your diagnostic tools, to accurately nail down step 3, diagnosing the root cause, like maybe it's a bearing failure or low insulation resistance, and then instantly executing the repair, that is everything. Your speed and accuracy in that moment literally stand between a minor operational hiccup and a multi-million-dollar plant shutdown. No pressure, right? And to execute that kind of rapid troubleshooting, you have to learn testing and measurement. You need to be completely fluent with your diagnostic arsenal. Think about it. A thermal camera is essentially your superpower for seeing invisible heat before a literal fire starts. Every future manager needs to have spent years wielding insulation resistance testers, power quality analyzers, vibration meters, the whole shebang. If you can't confidently use a clamp meter or a relay test kit yourself, you're going to have a really hard time commanding the respect of the technicians you're trying to supervise later on.
All right, on to Stage 3, maintenance types and planning.
So here is the really crucial point, the paradigm shift. The typical engineer mindset is highly reactive. It's totally breakdown focused, all about fixing the problem out in the field right now. But the manager mindset? That is proactive. It is entirely planning focused. Instead of running around rushing to fix a broken motor, a great manager is predicting that failure months in advance. They're strategically scheduling the downtime and perfectly allocating the resources and spare parts so that production barely even feels a bump. To make that shift, you must master maintenance types. You essentially evolve your strategy from the bottom up. Early in a plant's life, or maybe in a poorly run plant, you're going to see a lot of breakdown and corrective maintenance. But as you step into management, your job is to push the whole facility toward preventative maintenance, and even better, predictive maintenance. The ultimate goal for a top-tier manager is implementing advanced strategies like reliability-centered maintenance, or RCM, and total productive maintenance, TPM. You're basically moving the entire culture of the plant from reactive firefighting to precision strategy. And actually implementing that strategy requires you to learn maintenance planning and scheduling. This is arguably the biggest differentiator of a true manager.
You're now responsible for annual planning, orchestrating massive planned shutdowns, balancing manpower, and optimizing your spare parts budgets. To pull all that off, you must build strong digital skills and get comfortable with enterprise software. We are talking about mastering SAP PM, IBM Maximo, Microsoft Project, and Advanced Excel. Your ability to manage work orders and track costs through these systems is literally what keeps the plant profitable.
Which brings us to stage 4, safety and reliability engineering.
I want you to let this sink in for a second. Managers are responsible for ensuring a safe work environment. When you're a technician, you're mostly looking out for your own safety, maybe your partner's. But when you become the maintenance manager, safety is no longer just a personal practice. It becomes your ultimate legal and moral responsibility for dozens, maybe hundreds of people. You set the culture. If you cut corners, they cut corners, and people get hurt. It's as simple as that.
Therefore, you must master electrical safety and enforce these absolutely non-negotiable protocols every single day. Lockout/tagout, or LOTO, and permit-to-work systems have to be second nature to your facility. You have to deeply understand arc flash safety and electrical risk assessments. A true manager doesn't just know these rules exist. A manager strictly enforces standards like NFPA 70E, OSHA regulations, and ISO 45001. You are literally the shield that protects your workers from the immense and often invisible dangers of high voltage.
Once you know your team is safe, you must learn reliability engineering. This shifts your focus entirely away from guesswork and transforms maintenance into a true data-driven science. You'll be using complex failure analysis techniques, things like root cause analysis and failure mode and effects analysis. You're not just asking what broke anymore. You are scientifically analyzing exactly why it broke, how it failed, and then engineering a foolproof solution so it literally never happens that same way again.
An effective manager lives and breathes this data. Your big 3 key performance indicators, or KPIs, are plant availability, meaning is the plant actually running and making money? Mean time between failures, or MTBF, which tells you exactly how reliable your equipment is, and PM compliance, which shows if your team is actually doing the preventative work you scheduled. By constantly keeping an eye on these metrics, you optimize equipment efficiency and drastically drop that emergency breakdown rate.
Finally, stage 5, mastering leadership skills. Let's reinforce this reality. A manager leads people, as well as technical work. You could be the most brilliant technical mind in the world, but if you can't step away from the machinery to lead the people who actually maintain it, you are going to struggle. Your primary tools are no longer multimeters and wrenches. Your primary tools are now your technicians, your supervisors, and your engineers. Your main job is to empower them, clear roadblocks out of their way, and guide their performance.
To do that successfully, you absolutely must improve your leadership skills. Things like communication and conflict resolution are vital, especially when tensions run high during a massive outage. Coaching is what helps you turn your junior technicians into senior engineers. And delegation, learning to finally let go of the wrench and genuinely trust your team to execute the work, that is often the hardest hurdle for former engineers to overcome. But these soft skills, they're the final essential strategic weapons you need to succeed at the highest level of plant management.
Which brings us to the end of this journey and leaves you with one final vital question. Are you ready to step up, lead your team, and ensure ultimate plant availability? Look, the roadmap we've explored in this explainer today is not easy. It requires a decade of dedication, endless technical learning, and a profound shift in how you view both problems and people. But for those of you willing to build the foundation, master the planning, and embrace the leadership required, that manager's desk is waiting. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep pushing your career forward.